All right, everybody, welcome back to Beginning Honky Tonk Rhythm Guitar. Now, in this third lesson, I'm going to talk about finding your alternating fifths in other chords besides our open E chord, because obviously we're going to need to know at least 3 chords. So the big lesson here is to understand how to find your fifth, whether you know the scale or not. And there's a real simple way to do that. Now, guitars are tuned low to high in fourths, with the exception of our B string, but we're going to ignore that because we're more concerned with our bass strings right now. So essentially, the guitar is tuned to fourths, from low to high. Well, the opposite of fourths is fifths. So if you're going from high to low, anytime you have a note, say in your F chord on the 3rd fret, 4th string, well, one fret or one string lower, same fret, so instead of 3rd fret, 4th string, 3rd fret, 5th string, well, that's the 5th of the note that sits right on top of it. So your F would be here, and your alternating 5th note would be 1 string below. That's a great thing to know, because now if you look at that chord, anytime you have a chord with no open strings, it's a movable chord. So at first position it's F. If you go up 2 frets, there's a G chord. Go up another 2 frets, there's an A chord. Another 2 frets is a B chord. 1 fret's a C chord, and so on. So going back to our A chord, using the rule we just learned, well, if our A chord starts with an open 5th string as our root, then our 5th should be the open 6th string, and it is. So I've got 5 chord, 6 chord. That's 5th string chord, 6th string chord. Remember, our D chord starts on the 4th string, so we should have 4th string chord, 5th string chord. B7 chord. This is an important one to know in the key of E. The root of that chord's on the 5th string, 2nd fret, so the 6th string, 2nd fret should be our 5th, and it is. Now, I'm going to include a tab that's got all these chords and I think a couple more, but it's worth figuring out common chords that you like to use, where the alternating or the alternate fifth is in relation to the bass note. For instance, it's not always in an easy spot. Like the original E chord, there's no string on this side unless you're playing a 7th string, so we had to find our 5th degree elsewhere, and luckily it was at the 2nd fret, 5th string, so it was real convenient. But what about a G chord? I just showed you one way you can get right through this and just don't use that form of the G chord, but use the 4th string root form, which looks like an F chord but moved up to the well, I call it the 5th fret because the root there is at the 5th fret and it goes to the 3rd fret. And with that G chord, it's real simple. You can go from the 5th fret, 4th string to the 5th fret, 5th string, and bypass having to find that note here. But sometimes you might want that open sound, and so it's worth knowing that the 5th of G is D. And so in this chord form, what I like to do is I'll play the 6th string, 3rd fret as my root, and I'll make the chord everything from the 3rd string to the 1st string, or any combination of those. And my 5th is D in the key of G, so I use my 4th string open, and that's my 2nd bass note. So I've got 6th string, and then 3, 2, and 1. And then 5th string, 3, 2, and 1. So that one's less obvious, but again, it's worth digging around to a lot of chords that you like to play normally, and if you want to include those into more of a honky tonk feel, find the alternating fifth pattern in that chord. Another quick one I'll touch on before we wrap this up is fifth string root bar chords. Like your simple power chord shape. These are great for alternating fifths in rhythm, especially for the tighter, more dampened tone. But the bass note there is always on the fifth string, so if you bring your first finger to include the sixth string, all you have to do there is adjust for the strum with your right hand. So it's so it's fifth string chord, sixth string chord. And it's just another example of the same thing done a different way. So feel free to, like I said, find chords that you normally play and find the alternating fifth. Come up with some new ways to do it on your own that fit what you're trying to accomplish. But have fun with your practice, take it slow, and really emphasize the rhythmic quality of the right hand.